very common fear many human beings share is the fear of the ocean. The term for it would be thalassophobia, the fear of the sea. Subnautica doesn't necessarily classify as a horror game, but exploring the dark emptiness, the dim-lit forests, and the confusing caves, not knowing what exactly is swimming around will surely freak out most players. This is even more true diving into the depths where there are giant, aggressive creatures and elusive, creepy-looking aliens all over the place. It doesn't help that it's eerily quiet down there. It's just this natural build-up to a jump scare. Let's talk about the 15 creepiest creatures in Subnautica. The sand shark is one of the first aggressive fauna the player should encounter. It blends in with the plateau and plains biomes that it is found in. Not very large in size, the sand shark hides in the sand and jumps out at prey. It shakes around aggressively, growls, and even bites the player if it gets close. Thankfully, it's very easy to avoid and easy to swim away from. It's one of the least scary creatures because of how easy it is to avoid, and the way it shakes around looks kind of comical in my opinion. Another one of the first aggressive fauna found in the caves closest to your life pod in the shallows. Crashfish live in nests of sulfur, and when the player gets close to these nests, the crashfish gets alerted and swims very quickly at the player until exploding. The explosion does quite a bit of damage, but if you swim out of its radius, it will have no effect. The creature isn't exactly scary in size, but it packs a punch and can be very startling, especially to new players. Mesmers look like underwater moths. They use hypnosis to attack the player and other fauna. Once under the creature's trance, the player hears the PDA telling them to swim closer and other strange dialogue.
It is your primary directive to swim closer to the creature.
Even though a mesmer is small, its bite is strong. They are rare creatures found in moss forests, the bulb zone, and the Lost River. The Stalker. One of the first aggressive creatures that the player encounters. Groups of them are found in moss forests where they chew on metal and lay their eggs. Stalkers can also be found swimming around plenty of other biomes too. But the forests are loaded with resources, so the player must face these stalkers at one point or another. They become less scary once the player finds out that they are all bark and little bite. The Reefback Leviathan. Reefbacks are peaceful, yet ominous. These things are massive. You see them sort of hovering in the vast openness and just releasing this deep groan. They are not aggressive, but somehow they still manage to creep me out because of their size. And of course I mentioned the extremely deep noises that they make. The lava lizard. We're beginning to venture deeper into the water, and the deeper the water, the weirder and scarier the fauna become. The lava lizard obviously lives in the lava caves. It can take in lava and use it as a projectile against the player. Its second attack is as simple as ramming into the player for damage. The lava lizard seems to have a protective lava coating that enables it to live in this kind of environment. River Prowlers. These things are found in the Lost River. that deep hidden biome beneath the crater. River prowlers live side by side with tons of other creatures in this biome. These things look pretty weird. If the player makes it this deep, they've pretty much seen everything. The river prowler has what looks like a spine. It has very sharp teeth and round eyes. They use their tendrils to snatch their prey. The bone shark. This type of shark is found in deep, dark water. They flail around in open water until something enters its radius. The bone shark lets out a growl and shoots toward its prey in an attempt to bite. Definitely more aggressive and dangerous and scarier looking than the sand shark, but not quite as scary as some of the monsters to come. The sea treader Leviathan. This guy's found in a deep sea biome called the Sea Treader's Path. These leviathans are the only creatures in this biome. It's pretty desolate down here. Sea treaders migrate from this biome to the Grand Reef for some reason, and are found walking back and forth, usually in small groups. They are only aggressive when they are hit by the player.
Passing 100 meters.
The crab snake. These things are found exclusively in the jelly shroom cave biome. The cave is lit by bright purple jelly shrooms, which is where the crab snakes live and hide, is what it seems. When provoked, they shriek and slither out of their nests to bite the player with their fangs. Warpers are small phantom-like creatures that can teleport and attack the player. They deal a lot of damage and even have a special attack which ejects the player from their sea moth. You'll know that a warper is near because it will emit noises that sound like static and electricity. They are very common in plenty of different biomes, but you'll mostly see these things in deeper water. The crab squid. My only experience with crab squid so far has been in the Grand Reef. Just looking at the way they move, just how still the crab squid is and how it seems to sort of levitate around. And then of course the growl it makes when it attacks you with its shockwave. It's just creepy. Shockwave attack turns off all electronics for a short amount of time, leaving the player vulnerable to its attacks. The Sea Dragon Leviathan. This giant only appears at one of the deepest locations in the game, the lava zones. This thing is giant. It has heat-proof tissue which allows it to survive in this biome. It can bite the player and actually swallow the player whole if you swim too close. It has other abilities too. It can shoot fireballs and has fire breath and can also swat with its arms, which does a lot of damage even if the player is inside a vehicle. The Ghost Leviathan. The Ghost Leviathan is the second largest creature in the game. It is a giant bioluminescent basilisk with a head like a hammerhead shark. They attack the player from behind in a lot of cases. It is pretty sneaky, very stealthy. I've seen a Ghost Leviathan near the floating islands, in the Lost River, and in the Grand Reef. There's a few more scattered around too. Ghost Leviathans bite the player for a ton of damage and can attack and destroy vehicles. The Reaper Leviathan. Probably the most iconic scary creature. If you hear this thing's distinct growl, then it's probably got you in its sights. My first Reaper Leviathan encounter was by the Aurora. This one mainly sticks around this area, but there are plenty more of them scattered around, mostly in deeper, more open water. When attacking the player, it lets out a terrifying growl and gets in the player's face to deal a bunch of damage. It can grab hold of the player's vehicle, like the sea moth, and destroy it insanely fast.